Welcome to the Podman Community Meeting. Today is June 2nd, 2026. This meeting is being held on the even-numbered months on the first Tuesday of those months. We're driven for topics based on what folks give us on the agenda or meeting requests to myself. Please send several and many at any time that you want. Discussions will be accepted not only for Podman, but for Builda, Scopio, and any other related container projects. And we love seeing any kind of demos that you might have. Our meeting notes, if you want them, are right there, which includes our hack agenda, or the hack MD, which includes our agenda. So for today, we have a couple of topics, most notably the CNCF move for the GitHub repos that we're currently undertaking, and mostly finished, I think, at this point as far as the move goes. And then the CNCF CI demo from Paul. He'll be talking about how the CI has changed from where it used to be on GitHub. And then looking for any next topics or any open forum questions. So with all that, I'm going to hand it over to Matt.
Sure. Thought this one was going to be Paul. Sorry, I didn't prepare. So, we have. All right, I'll start off by with the easy bit. So, our previous CI provider, Cirrus CI, announced about a month and a half ago that they were going to shut down as they had been acquired by OpenAI. This has caused a bit of a scramble for us as we try and migrate over to alternative CI providers, in this case, GitHub Actions, before the shutdown date, while simultaneously trying to get the Podman 6.0 release ready. We didn't quite get 6.0 ready before, but we do still have mostly functional CI even after the shutdown, and the mostly functional bit should be fully functional hopefully pretty soon. So all good news there. But as part of this, we finally took the opportunity to move Podman from where it formerly lived in the containers org over to a new CNCF owned organization, Podman-container-tools. This is the official name of our CNCF project, and all the things that are presently owned by the CNCF are going to be going in there. So it's going to, right now it has Podman, Builda, and Scopio, but also we are starting to move some additional projects into the CNCF owned organization as part of this. These are things we'd always meant to add on at some point in the future once we'd gotten the hang of how things were going to go in CNCF, and now seemed like a good time, especially since their CI needed to be migrated as well. So we have already moved over the container libs repository. So this is containers image, containers storage, containers common, the core libraries that all of our basically Podman, Builda, and Scopio all depend on, as well as Cryo and a few other things. So all the core technology has now been moved out to CNCF as of that. Other things we're going to be moving in include Podman Machine OS. This is where we build the images that Podman Machine uses. So all of the scripts and logic that are used to build out those images are going to be owned by CNCF. It's not done yet, but the voting is ongoing, so hopefully soon. Other things, we're probably going to be moving in the websites. This hasn't been done yet, but the Podman.io, Build.io pages are both going to be moved into this new organization. And automation images is actually being done now. This is one nobody really cares about except us, but it contains all of the stuff that our CI needs to run. So we're going to be putting that in CNCF as well. So end result of this, a lot more code is going to be in public ownership through CNCF at the end of this. Basically, everything you need to build Podman and run Podman is going, except for an OCI runtime, I believe. Everything except that is going to be under the CNCF in the Podman Container Tools org. And yeah, I think that's about it. Any questions? Did I miss anything? Okay.
Just real quick, are end users going to need to do anything to still access our repos?
No. So everything is moved. However, GitHub has applied automatic redirects as it always does when you move things. So while Podman has changed from github.com/containers/podman to github.com/podman-container-tools/podman, there is a redirect at the old location, and you can still access Podman via the redirect. We've moved all our import names over to go.podman.io as part of this process, but that is not mandatory. You don't have to use the fancy new imports. We just moved because now it's completely independent of hosting location. We can move these whenever we want to. Not that we're intending to do other moves. This has been a quite trying experience.
I think Go forces you to update the module name, but we did that a few months ago, so now it should be transparent.
Yeah, because we have dependency imports, all the imports stay the same. But the Podman v6 import changed for those who haven't updated them yet, or probably have not updated it yet because we haven't released Podman 6 yet, so that makes sense. But yes,
Speaking of, Podman's 6 RC1 is coming out whenever we finally get the CI. The last little bits of lingering problems with the CI are being fixed. Once they are fixed, we're ready to do an RC1. We just need CI to stabilize.
Great, thanks, Matt. And for the redirects, there's no time frame that those will go away, but it's suggested that people go over and use the new ones. Is that correct?
As far as I'm aware, GitHub doesn't remove the redirect on the time, so I think they stay forever. But yeah, eventually people should just use the new location.
Yeah.
I think on a Git push or something, I think I saw a reminder on the CLI tool from GitHub that the location changed. But yeah, on the website you get redirected automatically, so you see the new URL as well.
Great, thanks. Great, any other questions or comments? Great, not hearing any. So since we talked a little bit about the CNCF CI changes, Paul's agreed to give us a little demo and a little talk. So Paul, why don't you take it away?
Okay, so this is basically what I showed off yesterday, just to make people aware how to use the new CI. So let me get the screen sharing going. All right, so let's start with the PR, basically to merge the new CI. Like it's now GitHub action based. Basically everything in a big YAML file which defines all the tasks. And that basically results in the runs on the CI here, the trigger, all the tasks we are going to run. And if you want to see the logs, you basically click on it, on the task, and then you have the logs of a task. So that's something with some readable logs. Sys test should have something here. So yeah, so the tests are run inside a VM actually. So yeah, this is the normal test output from the Bats framework. And yeah, so we have similar testing matrix as Sivas basically. We have API tests running, bindings, compose, Dockerpy, the unit tests, upgrade tests, system tests, and integration tests. The bot tests even, and the machine tests again. And so the main tests here, the Linux-based ones, integration system tests, and so on, they are run on VM that we built in another repo, in the automation repo. It's creating QCOW disk images. And then we have basically the Fedora stable, which is like the current Fedora. We have the Fedora prior, which is like the N-1 thing, so like Fedora 43 right now. Fedora Rawhide to test the latest things, and we have Debian SID as well to test the latest Debian. And that's basically the same distro matrix and anything we had in Cirrus. So in that sense, it should be quite similar, just triggered in a different way now. And there are, at the end of a task, if somebody actually needs to debug something, there should be the journal of the VM uploaded. So you see it here as a download link. Or if you click on summary, you see all tasks. And you see, if I scroll down, yeah, okay, you only see one right now because of the quirk of the rerunning, which I'm going to show in a second. So if you go to attempt one, it should have all the other, all the other journals from the other tasks, basically. And yeah, so let's take something that's running. So, for example, this is interesting to show. This is a simple docs PR, and if everything should be right, we should not. Yeah. So, since this is a docs PR, we skip most of the tests. We only do the basic, like the validate is important, and yeah, we always build just to be sure, I guess. The building also validates like the man pages because that needs a build Podman to compare the Podman help versus the output. So there is some optimized logic similar to the Cirrus one. And yeah, one thing to shout out, I don't know if you should call this a bug, but GitHub Actions thinks if you skip a task, you don't expand the matrix value into the real value. So you get this variable here. That's not a problem with our YAML file. That's just how GitHub thinks it should be, I guess. So don't worry about if you see these. So how to rerun something? Do we have a failed PI here right now? Nicola, this is red. Let's have a look. So yeah, usually if you scroll down, so we have something failed here. So just click on it to see the logs. And so the system test logs, they are generally readable. If we go quickly to integration, they will be too long to see anything because right now I haven't enabled our old log formatter, and that needs some work how to integrate this with GitHub Action, but it's basically not readable. At some point, GitHub cuts it off. Let's see. Yeah, so it says it has been truncated, and you need basically in the right corner few raw logs, top right corner, and that gives you basically text file, and then you can just Control F to the error if there is one, and it's gonna load a bit. It's like with integration test, like if there's a failure, it's basically the test name is printed here, and then you just copy Control F, and then you get to the middle somewhere. I think that should be easy to figure out for you how to read this. So now that we have a failure, or yes, a machine failure as well. So what you want to do, let's see, back to the top, rerun jobs, you just click on it, and then it pops up. Do not click rerun all jobs. Always use rerun failed jobs. Rerun all jobs, as it says, reruns everything again, and then you likely have, again, some flags. So let's just rerun. It says what it reruns even, so need to confirm again, and it triggers a new run, and it copies the status over from the previous run. It's going to take a moment. Yeah, so it's marking all the already successful tasks completed and only runs the one that failed again. And, yeah. As you can see, we have a lot of tests. So this interface is not designed for a lot of tests. Yeah. And yeah, if you want to see prior failures, I don't know if you need to see the logs again, you can at the top here switch between the attempts basically for back to get the older logs again if you need them. And then back to the PR, top left, you get back to the PR. And yeah, can review it like you would normally. And now it shows you the tasks are running again. And yeah, the merge protection is set to wait on total success, which, like we had in CRS, is basically the status aggregator task at the end. That's going to fail if any of the individual tasks fail. So we don't have to actually put everything of these names into merge protection settings, which is quite helpful. And I think that's pretty much about it, CI-wise. There's some follow-up work. I created some issues for those who want to help out. This is what I tracked so far. Yeah, feel free to have a look later. And that's, I think, about it. Yeah, similar CI systems are used on Builder, Scorpio, Container Labs. It's very similar, basically, from the setup. And yeah, that's it for now. Any questions?
Looks good. Okay, last call. Any further questions or comments for Paul or for the CI test? Okay, well, thanks, Paul. All right, that's all that we had on the agenda for today. Does anybody have anything that they would like to discuss or ask before we wrap up here? And or any topics for the next meeting? Speaking of which, that is going to happen on Tuesday, August 4th. It will be at 11 a.m. Eastern time. It'll be at DC -4 still at that point in time. No, still in daylight savings time.
I have one more thing. So
sure,
I updated with the repo move. One thing didn't really plan for or couldn't really fix, I guess. We had basically GitHub teams, and those teams were like for the maintainers and reviewers on each repo, and the teams were tied to the GitHub org containers, and they were not moved over. So some of the maintainers and reviewers temporarily lost access to the repos. I recreated the teams now with the actual current set based on the maintainers.md file in the repo. And most people should be in by now, but for the people that were not part of the new org, like membership-wise, it basically created a new invite. So they have to explicitly accept it. So anybody who has got invites earlier, then please accept them to get your permissions back. Otherwise, you won't have the permissions you should have. And if anybody is missing any permissions or anything, just ping on the Podman Dev channel and we figure it out.
That's going to be my next question. Thanks, Paul. Alrighty. Any other questions, comments before we wrap up today? Hearing a whole lot of silence. Right, with that, well then, I will thank you all, especially Matt and Paul, for presenting today, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple months. Thanks all.